Hi friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Juan. I'm a yarn addict, hence the name Juan the Yarn Addict, and I want to thank each and every one of you guys for stopping by to check out my video today. This is a yarn and crochet channel where we talk about all things yarn and all things crochet, so if that interests you, please sit back and watch my video because today, my friends, we're caking up some vintage yarns. That's right, friends. Everything that you see in front of you are discontinued vintage yarns that I've acquired either through friends of the channel, myself, or from friends on the side of the screen. So before I get into the yarn that's on the table, let me show you some of the caked up yarn that I've already completed. So as of right now, I have about 8 trays or so from previous sessions where we sat here and we caked up all of the yarns, and they're absolutely beautiful yarns from yesteryear. I mean, I can't recall having worked with any of these before, but maybe you guys have, and maybe this would be, the blast from the past, so to speak. So this is the first tray right here. It's absolutely beautiful. I am in love with this particular cake right here. Out of this whole entire tray, I love this one right here. Now, I don't know the name of it, and that is okay, but this is what we're looking like right here. It's got all the blues and all the grays. Love it. And it is a thick 4-weight yarn. I love it. And this one up here looks like McCall, but it isn't. Again, a nice full 4-weight yarn. Very nice. All the blues and the teals. And then we have this country rose color. Very nice. So there's that one. Okay. Let's move on to the next tray. Now, out of this tray, this is going to be a tough call, friends. I actually like more than one cake out of this tray. So we have Kaleidoscope right here, which is amazing. We have this vintage one here called Brights. This one here, I don't know the name of it. Let me see. What is the name of this one here? So it's always good to hold on to these. This one here is called Candy. So that one is called Candy. I'm going to put that right there. So yeah, out of this tray here, I like this particular cake here, Kaleidoscope. I like Brights, and I do like this here. This one is super nice. It's giving me all of those muted colors, the rust and the brown, and just that pop of blue. Very nice. Okay. For this next tray, I have more of that blue and that gray that I showed you from the first tray that I really liked. So we have more of that right here. But out of this tray here, this is my favorite. So it's very much summer colors. I think Leo the lion and all the things. Fire, heat, hot. I love that. So there's that. That's the third tray. So next, we have some more of this wonderful, yummy yarniness. So this here is not Kaleidoscope. It's some other colorway, but it's more of a muted version of Kaleidoscope, which is very nice. Here we have more of, it's more of like Halloween. I think of like candy corn when I look at this. So there's that, and then we have all the reds. Very nice. It's called Red Shades from Red Heart. So yeah, very nice. This next one here, my favorite one out of this bunch is this one right here. It's called Brown Shades from Red Heart. Very nice. Okay. This next tray, my favorite one, well, there's 2 of them. So this one right here is called Fruit Punch. We have Fruit Punch here. And then this one right here is called Brights. Very nice. Now, this one right here, I'm actually going to be using in a separate project. So I am working a blanket for the couch. You may have heard it, bits and bobbles here and there. I am making a squares blanket for my couch, and so one of the squares that I'm going to be making myself will be made of this fruit punch yarn because it is my absolute favorite variegated yarn. So there's that. But apart from that, the brights color is going to be my favorite out of this one here. All right. And this particular tray, well, it comes to no surprise that this one here and this one here are my favorites. This is Kaleidoscope. So, yes. Now, what am I making with all of this variegated yarn? Many people have asked me, like, Juan, you have all this variegated yarn. What are you doing with it all? So let me tell you, I am going to be making solid hexagons, and I'm going to be lining these hexagons in black. And I am using all of the yarn that you see here. Every bit and piece of it is going into this blanket. If you've seen the banner across my channel, you will see a solid granny square blanket. It is 196 squares, and it took a lot of yarn to make. So I am doing a hexagon version of that blanket, except with all vintage variegated yarn, and the showpiece will be all of the vintage yarns throughout. So I'm super excited to put all of that together and get that started. Now I'm trying to decide the hook size. Do I use a 5.5mm crochet hook for that, or do I use the 6mm crochet hook that I'm comfortable using? I'm not exactly sure, because if I hook to the correct recommended size of the 5.5, I'm going to go through more yarn, which I'm okay with. It's not like I'm running short on any of this yarn, but I want to make sure that it is cohesive, because not all of the yarns have the same thickness. So I just want to make sure that there's some wiggle room there for, you know, the yarns that don't have as much to it than some of the other yarns. So if I use the smaller hook, there might be a small chance where those lighter yarns will turn out to be a lot smaller, if that makes any sense. So I'm still trying to decide. All right, so those are the ones that are done. These are the ones that we still need to work up. So I'm not sure if I've shown these before, but it bears worth showing again, because these have to be caked up. I mean, technically I could make a hexagon from these yarns, but in all honesty, I believe that it would be easier for me to work up if it were caked up nice and neat. So this particular skein here is Caron Dazzler, and the colorway name here is Country Blue Ombre, and it's got the peach, the white, and shades of blue there. So there's that. This is 3 ounces. It is a 4-ply yarn, and it's soft. I mean, all things considered, I'm very, very happy with how this feels. So there's that. Next we have pink camo, which is super nice. We have that rose pink with what looks to me to be like olive shades. There's like olive and like taupe and browns. So that's peculiar but nice. So there's that. Next we have this Lion Brand Sayel yarn, and the colorway is called Springtime Ombre. So it's giving me all those pastel colors. It's appearing to be a little washed out where you're seeing it, but there are some very bright yellows and, dare I say it, powder pinks and baby blues. And it even shows a little bit of the mint green, it looks like. Anyway, it's just as valid as the rest of them, because, I mean, it is vintage and it is variegated. So there's that. Next we have Sugar and Spice from Red Heart, and this is what that looks like. We have blues and tan colors and whites and hunter green. Very interesting mix of colors, but I'm here for it. I like it. Very nice. And here we have Day Glow, which I believe is still sold in stores. It's not discontinued, but this is an old skein of yarn. This particular skein has been around for quite a while. I can tell because of the label. So around the heart, you'll see like a gold band. That indicates that this band has been around for a little more than 10 years. It's been about that long since we've seen the gold band around the heart here. Now, don't quote me on that, but I'm basing that off of other skeins that I know are about 10 years old. So, yeah, we're going to cake this up too. And then we have Earth and Sky. Browns and blues, very nice. Stripes, variegated, not sure, but we're going to see what that looks like when we go to work it up. And then we have what appears to be Mexicana yarn, but I can tell you that based off of what I'm seeing, this is the older Mexicana yarn. The Mexicana yarn that we see today in stores are not like this. This here is very thick and full, and today's Mexicana yarn is not this thick or full. You see that? It's very thick. It's a thick, full 4-weight yarn. So I'm here for it. We're going to cake that up. And then we have a muted version of Mexicana of the Kaleidoscope, which I don't know the exact name of this. I do have the label in one of the other cakes. I've already caked up this yarn in another tray, so I can't recollect the actual name, but we have primary. It's primary. It's called primary. So yes, it came to me mid-sentence. All right, so next we have Mainstays. Mainstays, who'da thunk? So Mainstays worsted weight yarn. This is 100% acrylic, and it is a thin acrylic yarn. And what is the colorway name here? It is called Green Multi. So yeah, here we go. I may just cake this up because it looks like it's ready to go. You know what I mean? It hasn't been touched. The bag is not open. There's just this little slit that has been, you know, worked like this. So this might be what we do first. Because honestly, friends, this bag has been around for more time than I care to talk about. So we need to take care of that. So we're going to do that first. And so next we have poppin' yarn. I know I've shown this before and I passed it along because honestly, friends, between you and me, this is not appealing to me. There's a medium gray with like this very muted green. I mean, I don't know, but look, you know, it's just not giving me the things that I want it to give me. But if I do it up in a hexagon and I circle it with the black, it might just give me what I need. But like this, it's no fun. So there's that. All right, and last but not least, we have Dazzle from Caron in the colorway Pacific Ombre. So we have teals and peaches and whites and light blues and things. Super, super nice. Okay, let me clear the table. I'm going to place this on a brief pause and set up shop so we can get this started. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, friends, so I am back, and I decided that we are going to cake this up first. So this is called Green Multi. This is Mainstays yarn, and this is from Walmart from a long time ago. I don't know how long ago, but they definitely don't sell this anymore. If they did, I probably would have bought it, because that is a lot of yarn in a bag, just saying. So as always, I start my cakes with a slip knot, just like this. And it just makes it a lot easier. So when I pull the cake from the tray, I can literally just put my hook right into that slip knot and go right to work. Okay? And it also holds the knot on the cake situation here. So there's that, just like that. All right, so nice and slow to start. Let me get situated. Perfect. Okay. So there we have it. We are off and running. I'm not sure if all of this is going to fit all on the same cake, but we will definitely find out, friends. Nice and easy. Hopefully the squeaking doesn't last forever. But that's okay if it does. I mean, it is what it is. Now, I wonder if this particular skein had sisters and brothers in other colorways. I have no idea. This is the first time I've ever seen Mainstays yarn this big and in this colorway. Now, what they have today is nothing like this, for sure. They have a black, white, and gray multi. They have a pink, red, and white multi. And then they have like a blue version. But beyond that, I don't see anything like this. And honestly, I wish they would bring something like this back, if I'm being honest. I know I would buy it if I saw it, you know? So my goal here is to have everything caked up and then just go to town and start making these hexagons. You know, it took me a while to decide that hexagons was the route I wanted to go. Now, I'm not going to make these hexagons big. I'm literally just going to do maybe 5 or 6 rounds with the variegated yarn and then do 1 round in black. And that's it. And since I am using Red Heart mostly, I'm going to go ahead and use Red Heart in black. Just for consistency, you know? Not that it really matters, but in my mind, I'd like to think that the entire blanket had some sort of common theme, and since about 85% of the cakes that I've been caking up are Red Heart, I might as well just stay with that. So, yeah. I may change my mind. I may go with Big Twist. I may go ahead and just do Loops and Threads Soft Classic. I'm not exactly sure, but I know behind me I have plenty of black yarn in other brands. I don't have any actually of Red Heart in black. So it would mean a trip to the yarn store. And guys, you know how much I love trips to the yarn store. Give me a reason to buy yarn and I am a kid in a candy store. You know? So that's another reason why I actually want to go ahead and get the Red Heart, because you never know what else you're going to find when you're there. You know, a lot of times when we yarn shop, we have in our minds like, okay, we're going for something specific, but then once we walk down the aisle, we're like, oh my, I didn't see that colorway. I need one of those. And then, oops, I need another one of those. And wait, do I see a hook size that I don't have at the house? Let me go ahead and grab that. So, yeah, I do that all the time. Last winter, I went through a thing with puzzle. Every time I was at Walmart, I asked myself, do I have enough of this particular colorway to make this project? Knowing in the back of my mind, I wasn't going to work that project. I just wanted to stock up on my Premier puzzle. I wanted every colorway, and I wanted all of them. I wanted all of the puzzle yarns. I have no idea why I wanted all of them. I just wanted them. I loved working with the 5-weight yarn with my 6mm crochet hook. The projects worked up quickly, and I love the overall effect that it gave me. So yeah, I had a severe obsession with Premier Puzzle. I think I counted almost 50 skeins of Premier Puzzle. And I had, well, I don't have every colorway now because I put most of them in my mystery boxes, but at one point in time, I had all 35 colorways in this house. So, yes. I don't have them now, and I'm not interested in getting them all back anytime soon. I've had my fair share of Premier Puzzle, and now it is time to graduate to other yarns. Who knows? I may pay good old Premier Puzzle another visit. You know, they make up great projects. Sweaters, blankets, throws, you name it. When it's cold outside, everyone's minds get changed, you know? So you never know. Look at this beautiful cake. Are you kidding me right now? Isn't that pretty? It's all the things. That whole entire bag right here. It's so good. I can't speak highly enough of this ball winder. And I do know that I've influenced quite a few people to get this. And I'm glad that I did, because, I have a Stanwood this and a Stanwood that, and you see I'm still using Nitpicks ball winder. You know, there's a reason for that. You know, I do like it. It's a lot of fun. There's something about the way that this thing moves while I'm recording myself and talking to you guys that I just really enjoy. Because I'm not sure if you're looking at the ball winder or me. So I'm giving you something else to look at. You know what I mean? It's entertainment value. So let me just go ahead and untangle the things. I'm almost done, friends. I'm at the end of this particular skein. I'm not sure if we had the entire skein, but by the looks of it, we had quite a bit. We may have had most of the skein, if I'm being honest. So we shall see. And unfortunately, I don't have any more of this. This is literally all we have. And this is a thinner 4-weight yarn, so I may very well just keep this to the side and make something special with it. Maybe like an asymmetrical shawl. I think that would look great as an asymmetrical shawl, you know, in this particular colorway. Yeah. So we shall see. I'm working with yarn barf right now. We love good yarn barf at the very end of a skein, right, friends? It's all the things. It's part of our craft. It's what we've come to know as part of the routine, right? And my friends, we actually get very good at it after a while. So there's that. I honestly did not think that this entire skein would work up into one cake, but boy, am I impressed. So, look at that, friends. Are you kidding me? And yes, I have dubbed this as a project for an asymmetrical shawl. And so there is that. So let me go ahead and take this out. How many yards was this? If it were in its entirety. So 891 yards, 16 ounces. So this was a 1-pounder. Clearly this is not a 1-pound cake. There's no way. But, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, 891 yards, 815 meters. And there is no weight class on this, which leads me to believe that this is a vintage yarn, because the CYC has all of the current yarns, you know, in classes and things. So clearly this is a 4-weight yarn, but it is a thinner 4-weight yarn. So let me go ahead and pull that out. Let me take this up like that. And then what I typically do is I take this, I measure it, and then I put it right here in the center, and then I push the cake up and leave this sit right here, so this goes right into the center of the cake. So then we slide this up like this, and just like that, we have the paper right here in the middle. Very good. Okay, so one down and tons more to go. Let me go ahead and place us on a brief pause. I will be right back. Okay, friends, I am back, and next up we are going to be doing Earth and Sky. Browns and blues. Absolutely beautiful. So, as always, we do a slip knot to start our cake off. Just like that. Let's set it up in here. And a few times. Okay. There we go. And we're off. So one thing I noticed about this particular skein, friends, is that there are not multiple shades of blue. There are different shades of brown though. So the earth portion has the browns, but the sky portion is just the sky, which is okay. You know, we love a good consistent color in a skein, right? So that's fine. I don't know how old this yarn is, but I will tell you that I learned about this yarn while collecting the vintage yarns. So I know I received several emails about this yarn, but none of those emails spoke about how old this yarn is or how long it's been around. I would assume that it's been around for quite a while. But in either case, I still love it. I mean, it's great. These are muted colors, earth and sky. I mean, I'm here for it. And this will definitely offset a lot of the bright colors that we have in the collection, like this day glow situation. I mean, this is as bright as it gets. This is all highlighter colors. So we need some of this to offset some of that, if I'm being honest. So that's okay. The only downside to caking vintage yarns is the outer shell, that it becomes very difficult to pull apart, and it's very easy to get knotted up. And then also on the inside, it's been sitting so long and pressured up against each other that when you go to, you know, take the yarn out, it gets tangled very easily. Not because there's anything wrong with the skein, but because of the pressure of having it sit for so many years in the same position, you know? So, yeah, I'm unraveling history here. So the last time those yarns have seen the day of light, decades and decades ago, you know? It's like a time capsule. Maybe I took that a little too far, but you know what I mean, you know? It's a time capsule in a skein. But it's true though, right? I mean, seriously, think about it. The last time that the inside of this skein seen the light of day was a long time ago. It wasn't just yesterday, let me tell you. I can feel for sure that it wasn't yesterday. Anyway, so I wonder, like, if I wasn't using this as a project for this, what else could I use this particular yarn for? Because I'm here for the browns. I love the shade of blue that they chose to go with it, but what could we work this up as? Could it work up as a granny square blanket? I mean, because I'm trying to think the yarn of the time, you know, what were the patterns like? I know a lot of chevron patterns were a thing, granny squares were a thing, baubles were a thing, popcorns were huge, you know. So I'm just trying to think, like, what could this have been worked up as? And I would imagine, since this is a busy yarn, the first choice would not have been baubles or popcorns, for sure. Maybe a single crochet chevron. Yeah. Something. Or even, for sure, a granny square blanket. When my mom saw this, she was like, oh my goodness, I remember that. I'm like, okay, from when? She's like, I don't remember. I'm like, well, that doesn't help. But yeah, so a lot of what I'm doing right now is that casing that I was talking about, how the yarn is starting to, like, separate because it's been so long since, I don't know, it's stuck together in certain areas. But that's fine, we're almost done the cake, you know? I thought about putting WD-40 on this, and I was advised not to do that. So, I don't know why. Because normally when something squeaks, it needs some sort of lubrication. So, I don't know, maybe olive oil, I don't know, something. It needs something. It's caked up a lot of cakes, friends. This particular ball winder, almost 200 plus cakes have been wound up without any sort of lubrication. So, it's doing really well, and we're fussing through the casing here. As I previously mentioned, The yarns are sticking together. It's okay. We will get to the bottom of this, friends, I promise. And I may actually do a whipping it with wand session doing these hexagons. I mean, I have tutorials on my channel for how to make these solid hexagons. In fact, I have the swatches right here. So these very hexagons are on my channel right now. This was made up with Premier Just Yarn. And yeah, so I have the solid full hexagons, and then I also have the half hexagons so that you can make a straight edge. So all of that is on my channel. And I have them in different colors as well. So I have been testing this for a very long time, because way back when I was doing this, the goal was not to work up an entire blanket with this. The goal was to work up this. But before I got to this, I needed to make sure that I knew what it looked like this. And friends, let me tell you how beautiful that looks. You can see all of the spaces there. They're perfectly lined up. I mean, it's very nice. Now, all I can think about is what this would look like in the vintage variegated yarns. So this is exactly the size of the hexagon that we're using. And there's going to be a lot more than 196 of them, because my squares that are out there are larger than this, and that took 196. So I'm super excited to get that started. And honestly, friends, it's a long-term project. I'm in no hurry to get it done. There is no deadline. I'm just going to continue working all of this until I run out, and then I'm going to put everything together. There is no quick method to that, unfortunately. I will have to go into every single stitch, but it's worth the time. It's worth the investment of making sure that everything goes exactly as it should. Who knows? It may be one of those things that I pass along, you know? So there's definite whipping it with wand sessions in the near future with that particular project. Now that I've let the cat out of the bag and have discussed it, and because for the longest time I was very tight-lipped about it. I didn't want to, jinx it. I wanted to make sure that I was committed to it, because when I did my solid granny squares, so I tiptoed around that whole idea for months before I committed to it, and I just wasn't sure. But once I actually got on board and decided, yes, we are going to do that, I was all in. Every free chance I had. When I woke up a few minutes early, I got a square done. When, I was ready for bed, I said, you know what? Let me take another 15 minutes and do a square. And that's how I got that blanket done. So it was before the channel, so I had a lot of free time. I don't have that kind of free time now, so I'm going to make the best use of my time. And just do whipping it with wand sessions, do a few squares before work, do some after work, and all the things. So, my friends, we have our second cake completed. Woohoo! Love that for us. Okay, so there's that. It didn't have a label to it, so let's go ahead and slide that off. Oh, love that. That's never happened before. Anyway, usually when it comes off, the hole closes right up, but it stayed open this time. I don't know. So there's that. All right. So let me place this on a brief pause, and I got to look and see which one we're going to do next. All right. I'll be right back. Okay, friends. So I am back. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to take care of this highlighter variegated yarn here. And let's go ahead and do our slip knot for the ball winder here. Just like that. Let's go ahead and insert it there. Feed it through, just like that. Nice and slow, easy does it. Okay. Now, honestly, friends, this is typically a skein that I would avoid just because bright colors frighten me. Not that I don't know how to use them, it's just that I don't really have a purpose for these bright colors. I mean, honestly, like, I'm more of earthy tones, jewel tones, muted colors. That's my vibe. If you see behind me, yellow is the brightest that I have. So to have highlighter colors here, I mean, it is a little bit out of my comfort zone, but I'm here for it. It's going to be a part of the blanket. Love that for us. Sorry about the squeaking. Crinkle alert, right? It's all the things. So I don't know if this is a full skein, friends, but there's quite a bit here. Now I'm trying to think to myself, how many hexagons can I get out of this particular skein? And honestly, I'm not exactly sure. Because if I use the 5.5mm crochet hook, it does eat up more yarn as opposed to using a 6. Because the larger your stitch is, the less yarn you're actually using. Because there's, less of the curves and the hoops and the loops and things. But it does suggest a 5.5mm crochet hook. I mean, 90% of this yarn, suggests the 5.5mm crochet hook. So it's probably going to be the hook that I use. So there's that. Now I had this little idea to work 2 different projects with all this vintage yarn because honestly, I think I have more than enough yarn for one blanket, So part of me was thinking, why don't I do entrelac crochet and do 1 round for each vintage variegated yarn and see what that looks like, But I think that would actually require me to do 1 round in black and then 1 round in the vintage variegated color. Because when you have all of those vintage variegated yarns together without, something in between to break up all of the colors you're looking at, I mean, it could be a bit much to look at. It's going to be all the things to look at, But maybe that's the point. Who knows? Maybe that's intentional, to just be able to look at all of the things all on one blanket and just take a moment and be like, wow, there's 45 different variegated yarns on one blanket and I've never seen anything like that before in my life. That's actually going to be the case with the hexagons, but the hexagons are separated by these black rings, So I don't know. For sure, 100% I'm doing hexagons. But if I have anything left over, I may do something else like entrelac. I'm not sure yet. Who knows? I'm not committing myself to the entrelac just yet. Come on, no squeaking, please. You were doing so good earlier, right? I'm talking to my ball winder. What is going on with me? Oh my. We all have these moments, I'm telling you. I know I'm not alone when we talk about things like that. We talk to our crochet hooks like, why are you not working with me right now? Why are you slipping? Why are you not going around the loops and the hoops like you're supposed to? So I feel like our ball winders sometimes get that same treatment. Like, why are you acting up now with all the squeaks? It did so good with the other 2 cakes. I don't know. Anywho, so I am excited about this project, friends. The more that I cake up these yarns, the more excited I get, because once everything is caked up, friends, I am actually going to start getting all this situated and started. It doesn't take long to do a hexagon, literally minutes, So I'm excited. So, as expected, I have some yarn barf here. Now, this last part of the skein, the tail, tends to get mangled up inside of the skein. And I think it's the cause of a lot of the knots when you round up towards the end of the skein. So it's not just the vintage yarns that that happens to. I think it happens to most yarns, honestly. So the trick is to work backwards. So when you get knotted up at the very end, go backwards, find the tail and work towards where you left off at. And you'll find that your knot will not be as severe as you think it is. So, and that's how I'm able to unravel it so quickly. Just work backwards. So, yeah. I am loving this particular cake. Now that I see all the colors like this, yeah, I do like this a lot. It's very 90s. You know, 90s were known for like these bright, amazing, beautiful colors, you know. Color blocking was huge in the 90s. Neons were a big thing in the 90s. So, yes, this is so cool. All right. So there is cake number 3, friends. Let me go ahead and take that off. Let me fold this nice and tight and just put it in there so we don't lose this particular label. There we go. That's so nice. It almost has like an argyle look, doesn't it? Wow, that is so cool the way that laid out like that. Huh, interesting. Okay, so I think we have enough time to do one more. So I am going to do pink camo. So let me pause us just so that the data saves, and I'll be right back in 1 second. Okay, friends, I am back, and we are going to do our final skein of this particular session. So I am going to go ahead and create a slip knot just like this. Let's go ahead and get that in there like that. And let's get it started. Okay. So I will be the first one to tell you, friends, that I'm not the biggest fan of all shades pink. I do have just one shade of pink that I really, really like. The other ones, they're okay. They're not something that I would write home about. But it's this particular skein right here. I keep it close by to show everybody all the things that I'm excited about. This particular colorway right here is it. Hot pink. That's it. If it's not hot pink, I'm not interested. So, you know, it's my thing. It's my story, and I'm sticking to it, friends. You know what I mean? I do have friends all over the place. You know, personal friends of mine, friends of the channel, even acquaintances. They all tell me, Juan, you're going to get used to it. You're just watch. One of these days, you're going to do all things pink, and you're not even going to realize it. But honestly, friends, I'm going to realize it because there's one thing that this yarn addict knows. It's color, right? I work with a color wheel. I know all about color theory. I'm just not a fan of the pink. And I have embraced the pink as a New Year's resolution. And look, I even have a favorite pink colorway. That's huge progress, friends. You have to give me credit for at least meeting the goal halfway. You know, I can't be a complete pink lover, you know, especially I've given it everything I've gotten, you know. It's just not my thing, you know, and it's okay. I love that for me. So, but I've learned how to embrace my purples more. So you see other shades of purples behind me right here. We have my aubergine right underneath my sign. I keep that right there because when I record my videos, right next to my head is my favorite color. Like, I do that on purpose. So that was intentional. Because in every video, I want to see my favorite color. And so, next to the purples are the greens. you know. So again, that was intentional. Like the aquas and the teals, they go amazing together. And on the color wheel, friends, I don't know if you knew this, but the color that's complementary most to purple is yellow. And that is why yellow is next to purple on the wall. So, you know, not that anyone has ever asked me, but there's a reason why I have the colors where I have them, you know. So I have all of the golden tones next to the yellows because, you know, in the color wheel, when you're looking at the color wheel, you start with the bright yellows and then it goes into, you know, the oranges and the browns. And as you can see, the orange is above and the browns are next to. So, yeah, it's all the things. And yeah, but what I'm trying to work towards, my friends, is eliminating all the hodgepodge. Like, I love order. If there's one thing that you can learn about me, is my yarn wall, although it's nice and neat and orderly, I don't like the different tones in each one of the cubbies. So I have to pick a colorway and commit to it and make the whole cubby that color. I don't know why, but in my mind, I feel like it's chaotic. It's got to be one way or the other. So if you were around months ago, I had another yarn wall behind us. And that yarn wall had bits and baubles of everything. You name it, it was there. And I was comfortable with that because the entire wall had a theme. Bits and baubles of this and that, these and those. And I was completely all right with that. So then once I got this wall, I was like, okay, now it's time to organize. You know, let's go with a little bit of color theory. Let's go ahead and organize by scheme and everything else like that. So when I first did the wall, a lot of the colors that you see here were all the same. And then as I started working projects and things, I started replacing the yarns with whatever was in stock. Like this cubby underneath the purple, like I'm not a fan of having 3 different colorways right here to my side here. I'm not okay with that, but I have to live with it. And then I have 3 tones of the teals. I'm not okay with that either. You know, just shedding some light on the things. Now over here, you have all of the Red Heart Super Saver ombres. I'm okay with that because that's intentional. Like, we're not organizing by colors here. We're organizing by, I guess, kind of yarn. So yarn type, that's the ombres. So I'm okay with that. I'm sorry, I had to pause to explain. We would have been done this yarn by now, but I had to point to the things and show you all that. I can't help it. So anyway, we're almost done this skein anyway, friends. It's fine, you know? It's all the things, as they say. And I might say that this particular skein worked up beautifully. Let me go nice and slow so it doesn't knot up on us. Nope, it knotted up anyway. That's fine, that's fine. Just pull it apart, work backwards. This is the tail. So we just pull from the tail and it will not knot up. See? Done. Pull backwards from the tail when you get into those types of situations. So, I say all of that, right? We started this whole skein with me telling you how much I didn't care for the pink. Well, I'm going to end the skein with telling you that even though I'm not a fan of the pink, it's going in the blanket. It has to. It's vintage variegated yarn. And so this was gifted to me in Happy Meal, and I need to do it justice and include it because it's just as valid as the other colors. I may not be a fan of it, but I am a fan of the variegated color story here in this particular cake, because there are other colors in this cake that I'm a huge fan of. So we have the olive colors, we have the taupes. Let me go ahead and fold this, just like that. Let's pull that off, put that there, and slide it off, just like that. Okay, so that is what this is looking like. Super, super nice. So my friends, we were able to cake up these beautiful cakes here in this particular session. Look at that. Very, very nice. So I want to thank you for hanging out with me while we caked up this vintage variegated yarn. If you like this sort of thing, please give me a like. Consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And then, of course, hit the notification bell to stay updated with everything regarding me and my channel. It's been so much fun. Until next time, friends, take care. Bye.